So now let's talk about isolation, because some of us don't have the typical average ordinary life where you have a routine and you get up in the morning and you get ready for work and you go and spend 8 hours a day at that place of work, and then you just can't wait to get home and you just don't even care if you're there by yourself or not, because then you know you only have so much time before you have to do your nightly routine, go to sleep, and wake up and do it all over again. Some of us, not by choice either, are literally stuck in the house like all day. And it's not even that. It's like no one to text, no one to call, no one to hang out with, nothing like that. And isolation makes it all so much worse. And it's like, yeah, I would rather have no one than someone who's either A, halfway there, not fully there, or B, fake. I know deep down I would rather be by myself than be around anyone who is fake to me, or anyone who just has ill intentions towards me, or anyone who's just halfway there, not fully there. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather it just be me, myself, and I compared to that. But it's still, like, just listen to the silence for just, like, a second. Just listen. Aside from my anxiety breathing. This is what it is. And it makes it very hard when you're dealing with the suicidal thoughts and everything. And again, these are just notes to people who are either going through the thoughts, or if you're the support system for those who have the thoughts, or whatever your situation might be. Like, isolation is rough, and it makes everything so much worse, especially when it comes to like social media. You find yourself on there because it's like, okay, well, like the depression has me thinking like, well, I could be cleaning this, I could be going through this, I could be doing that, I could be getting this done, I could be getting that done. And then depression holds me back, and it's like, okay, but wait a minute. You're like really sad right now. You don't have the energy, you don't have the motivation, you don't have anything to get these things done right now. So I end up scrolling through all of social medias and just seeing how happy everyone else is and everything, and it's just like, it just makes it a million times harder to deal with in life. Like, I know you can't see it, there's a picture right here. It says the best is yet to come, and that is what I have been believing for the longest time, because it's the only thing that can get me through the day. The best is yet to come. And lately I've been feeling like the best has already come and gone, and now all I have to look forward to are the worst days of my life. And I know that's not logical, and I know that I can probably guarantee myself that the actual best days may not have even come yet. Like, there's no way of knowing what tomorrow brings, what later today brings. There's no way of knowing. But you have to believe that through the isolation and through whatever your mind is telling you, at the end of the day, you only have yourself anyway. And I know it's like not what you want to hear, I'm sure, but at the end of every single day, the only person who you have is you, yourself. At the end of the day, who do I have? Me. Even if I was in a relationship, even if I had family around me all the time, even if I had friends to hang out with all the time, at the end of the day, I'm all I would have anyway. So you have to keep that in mind too, because I know social media especially, it makes it seem like you're missing out on all of these things. You're missing out on the relationships, you're missing out on the friendships, you're missing out on the trips, vacations, whatever. You're missing out on life, is what it makes it seem like. You know what I mean? That's what it makes it seem like. And it couldn't be farther from the truth, because honestly, you have to make peace with yourself. You have to be okay with being by yourself. And it's really, like, I finally felt like I was okay by myself. And then COVID took over, where there was no choice but to be alone and things like that. And it just made it seem like, okay, well, there's a difference between when it's a choice and when it's not a choice to be by yourself and be isolated and alone. And for me, I am very, very grateful that I have dogs and a little bunny to be with me, you know. But there's no humans, there's no human contact, there's no, you know, and it sucks, it's hard, but like at the same time, I mean, I could be using this time to better myself. I could be using this time to focus on myself. I could be using this time to not only that, but focus on everyone on the other side of this camera right now that I can't see. Or can I see you? No, I'm just kidding. Don't even start with all that creepy stuff. It's just so hard to even get a deep breath anymore these days because like everything has me on edge. And then the smallest thing sets me off. And I'll have a whole mental breakdown. I'll cry over it. Like, that's just how it's been. And right now, I could be cleaning, I could be getting stuff done. But to me, this is more important because I am afraid. Like, I'm actually genuinely afraid that anyone watching this or anyone out there that I hope will be able to see this is feeling the same way. Because when I think about it in regards to myself, it's like, wow, that's sad and there's nothing to do about it. But when I think about it being someone else feeling this way, it's like, no, are you crazy? Like, you can do all kinds of things. Like, you can, as much fun as cleaning is, I mean, you could clean, you could go through things, you could reorganize, you could do, like, there's so many things you could do. So, while it's easy for me to say that to you, I need to start, like, watching my own videos and just trying to ignore my anxiety breathing in my voice because I need to be told these things too, and that's why I feel like this is more important than actually cleaning and getting stuff done right now. Because it's true, like, even if you feel like all you have is yourself, you are your own best friend, and that's how it should be. Chances are, if you are watching this and going through anything I ever talk about, you might be like me, and you might be your own worst enemy. And that's where it needs to flip that switch and become your own best friend, not your own worst enemy. Because it can make a huge difference in your life. I mean, all I do is talk down to myself. I tell myself, maybe everybody is right about me. Maybe I really am this horrible human being. Maybe I'm not even a human being. Maybe I'm just this terrible creature that somehow exists. Like, I could keep going. But ultimately, I am always seeking out advice that I already know, things that I already have in my mind that I need to hear and be told. So then if I do reach out to someone and they don't tell me what I feel like I already need to know and be told and reassured and everything else, then it gets even worse. So that's why it's so important to become your own best friend. Isolation sucks. I'm not going to lie. It does. But sometimes it doesn't. Like right now, I can record this because I'm isolated. It's not. I just... There are... With just about everything, there are positives, there are negatives, there are pros, there are cons. You know, like, it's your choice ultimately. Even though you have anxiety and depression, whatever, PTSD, any mental illness dragging you down, ultimately at the end of the day, it is up to you in here, in the brain, in the mind. You decide. Do you want to be your own best friend, or do you want to be your own worst enemy? Because if you are your own worst enemy, then you're not going to get very far with about, like, anything. If you are your own best friend, you can give yourself the advice that you know you need to hear. You can comfort yourself in ways that you know that you need to be comforted. Even if it means you need to take a break out of the day, take a nap, go for a walk, do whatever. You know what's best for you. You know what's best for you, not anyone else. And sorry, like I said, you usually will know before you even seek out the advice and everything what you need to be told to be able to move on from a situation or whatever it is. It just feels like it's invalid when it comes from yourself and not from someone else. But if you go and search for this validation from someone else, they might not say what you want them to say. They might see stuff completely different than the way that you see it, you know? So, like, if you're your own best friend, you can literally, like, I don't want to sound crazy right now. I already sound crazy. I am crazy. You can even text yourself so that you can read it on a screen. Like, you can say, hey, it's gonna be okay. You can even send yourself texts and then read them like later. You could say, see, I told you you were going to be fine. I told you you were going to make it through. And send it to yourself and go back later and read it. You can do those things. There's so many, like, I used to be so afraid to do anything on my own. Anything. Even so much as exist on my own. And I'm still working on doing things by myself, but I mean, the other day, like, I just went on, not really a road trip, but kind of. One was a 30-minute one. They both were probably about 30 minutes, like, one way. So, I did that to go to two different locations, and I decided to go into stores by myself, which is a huge thing for me. I can't do that, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna drive somewhere random, not random, but you know, I'm gonna drive somewhere that's not here. I'm gonna go in I went to a few different stores, and it was just me, myself, and I accomplished some fears that I have. Now, do I still have those fears? Yes, but did I see that I was able to drive a half hour somewhere knowing I was about to go into stores by myself and make it through and make it back and everything? Absolutely. I showed myself that I am capable and I can do that. It's just when anxiety and depression, all of the different mental illnesses try to bring you down, and they drag you down, and they literally try to leave you down. Like, they push you down and they don't let you up. That's where you gotta really fight that. And when they have you pushed down so far that you're like drowning in it, you have to fight to lift it off of you. You have to fight that. There is no other choice. And that's how, when you're your own best friend, that's how you're going to be able to fight being drowned. You're going to be able to fight it back up off of you. It might sound crazy, but trust me, speaking from experience, that's how it goes, and that's what you have to do. So try to change the way you're thinking about isolation, about being your own friend, about having, if you have no friends, if you have whatever it is. You might have a million acquaintances but no friends. That's how I am. Like, I know people. We're not friends. I know them. And I mean, same applies to family too. Family and friends, like acquaintances. I mean, if I post something, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm so anxious today. If I post something that's like, I need someone to talk to, or my anxiety's so bad, whatever, people will comment on it and say, like, you can reach out to me anytime. But it's like, I don't know if it's for everyone with anxiety and depression, but for me, it's like, I feel like a bother. I've been told, you can come over anytime and vent, you can come talk to me. No, like, I need a written invitation. I'm just kidding, but I need invited. Like, you have to let it be known that you would want my presence there, because I feel like it's unwanted. That's how I see it. And that's why I never take it up. Like, I never take anyone up on their offers. Just like, if it's late or whatever, past midnight, and I'm stuck up with my lovely insomnia, but everything is bothering me, I won't reach out to anyone. Sometimes I'll make myself look like an idiot. I shouldn't say that, because it's okay if you do post about it, but I'll make a post like, is anyone up to talk? Like, I really need to talk, you know, and that's just making myself more vulnerable. So there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just, the reason I say it's stupid of me is because people will comment on it and say, like, Well, you know I'm always here. I've told you I'm always here. Okay, but you have never proven it to me. You have never reached out to me. So I don't feel like I have the go-ahead to just randomly message you about whatever's going on. I just don't know how else to get that through people's heads. The ones that don't have... It's actually also the ones who have a mental illness that are saying these things. It's like, you don't understand, like, I need you to at least... I don't want to say pretend to want to talk to me, but like... I can't feel like I'm going out of my way to get in your way. You want me to say that again? Let's see if I can, because that was deep and that made sense. I don't want to go out of my way to get in your way. That's what it is. And that's probably why I'm so isolated, and probably why I don't have friends. I don't consider anyone to be a friend. So I know that I'm learning to become my own best friend. I know that I'm on a journey to learning to love myself for who I am, for how I am, for everything about myself. Am I where I want to be with myself, as far as I physically look, as far as how I mentally think, as far as my anxiety, my depression, the PTSD, I could keep going. No, that's why it's called a journey, because you're not just going to get from, would it be from A to B or A to Z? We're going to say it like this. You're not going to get from A to Z overnight. You got to go A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, E to F. You get my point. You get my point. You have to take it one step at a time. You can't get from here to here. You have to go each step to get here. And that includes with when it comes to loving yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to love yourself. You are the only one you have at the end of the day. And I don't even mean it in the depressing way. I swear to you, I don't. But literally, at the end of the day, you are all you have. You have to know how to handle it. So while it might be sad if you feel like you don't have anyone, it might be what you need. It really, truly might be what you need. It's what I need. I know that for sure, because I'm learning more about myself. I mean, I was just ready to take my life yet again, and I learned more about myself through that process. Like, you just really have to understand that you are all you've really got in the end. Life can throw anything at you at any given moment. Like I said, even those who have their happy relationships and their happy friendships and their life and all that together, surrounded by family all the time, whatever it may be, at the end of the day, it's still, they still only have themselves at the end of the day. So just keep that in mind when you see on social media or whatever it is that happens, even in real life when you're out and about and you see people who look so happy. One, keep in mind you don't know what they're actually going through, because I put on a fake front to go around people in public and stuff. Sometimes I don't, though. Sometimes I'm just like, ew, don't look at me. What are you looking at? What do you think you're looking at? Like, that's how I am sometimes, but for the most part, I try to just like cover it up and just go do whatever needs done and get back, you know? So isolation isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes it's needed for some wake-up calls. Sometimes it's needed to get to know yourself better. And sometimes it's needed to learn to love yourself. Trust me, you are far more important to yourself than anyone else ever can be. You need to take care of yourself first. And I got that from someone who just helped me through a panic attack the other night, actually. That it's time to focus on myself. I'd been giving my everything to guys. Like everything. My whole priority, goals, focus, everything was on them. And now it's time to put it on myself. And I can't say I've never done that, because I'm sure I wasn't dating my whole life. But for as long as I can remember, probably close to a decade. Yeah, close to a decade, if not a decade. That's where my mind has been. It's been feeling like I need someone else's validation. I need someone else to love me. I need someone else to care about me. I need someone else to be there for me, with me, everything. And now I know that's not true. And it's still a learning process for me. I still can't say I'm fully to that point where I'm comfortable saying, I don't need anyone. I'm fine. I don't need a guy. I don't need anyone. You know what I mean? I'm not fully there yet, but I am getting there, and that is progress. And that's why I said you can't get from A to Z, you can't get from here to there. You have to take each little step to get there. So that's what I'm doing. It's called a journey for a reason. Isolation can be a journey on your way to self-love, to just everything. Just learning to be okay with me, myself, and I, to learning to be okay with being your own best friend, all of it. And it will be so worth it, because so far, and I'm on like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of on day one with this, because I kept trying with just everyone, and I'm finally letting those words catch up with me that, like, okay, it's time to focus on you. It's time to focus on yourself. It's time to finally do the things that you want to do. It's time to get your goals accomplished. Like, don't worry about other people. Don't worry about their opinions. Don't worry about what they're thinking. Don't worry about what they're doing or who they're doing things with. Did I save myself on that one? I hope so. But yeah, seriously, like, once you start to realize, it's going to change your life permanently, because once you realize, I can do that on my own. Like, why do I need someone? I want to go shopping. Nobody wants to go with me. I'll go myself. Once you start to learn those things, which again, I'm still in the process, it changes everything. I will say, being that it's October, my favorite. October, November, December, they're my favorite. You know, like, of course I wish I had someone. Of course I wish I had someone to go and do fall activities with and carve a pumpkin and watch a scary movie. Like, that's literally all I've wanted to do. I don't have anyone, but guess what? I have myself. I can carve a pumpkin by myself. I can watch I can watch movies by myself. I don't know about scary ones by myself, but I can, you know, like, I can. I don't need someone to do those things. So, you know, I'm learning. I'm on that journey, that process. It doesn't happen overnight, and I know that sucks, but isolation, believe it or not, I promise you, can turn out to be one of the best things that's ever happened to you.